The Great Depression was a time of immense hardship and resourcefulness, where families had to make the most of what little they had. From stretching a pound of ground beef to feeding a family of 6, to turning leftovers into a hearty meal, the recipes created during this period reflect a deep ingenuity and sense of practicality. These dishes were born out of necessity but have stood the test of time with their simplicity, affordability, and surprisingly comforting flavors. Today, many of these recipes offer not just a glimpse into history, but also an opportunity to reduce food waste and save money in modern kitchens. By using basic pantry staples and making every ingredient count, these recipes remind us of the value of frugality and creativity in cooking. Whether it's whipping up an old-fashioned potato soup, a jar of homemade apple butter, or a Depression-era peanut butter bread, these humble meals are not only reminiscent of a bygone era, but are also practical solutions for families looking to tighten their grocery budgets. This collection of Grandma's 29 Great Depression recipes is more than a list of meals. It's a tribute to resilience, a taste of nostalgia, and a masterclass in turning simple ingredients into something extraordinary. 1. Simple cornbread and milk delight. Cornbread and milk may seem like a humble pairing, but during the Great Depression, it was a staple for many families due to its affordability, simplicity, and hearty nature. This dish represents a time when resourcefulness and minimal ingredients turned into satisfying meals that could nourish a family even during the toughest of times. It's a dish that exemplifies comfort and a connection to the past, with flavors that continue to be cherished today. To make simple cornbread and milk delight, you'll need just a few basic and inexpensive ingredients: cornbread, milk, and optional sweeteners such as sugar or honey. If you already have leftover cornbread, this dish is even easier to prepare. Start by crumbling the cornbread into a ball, creating bite-sized chunks that can easily soak up the milk. For those who enjoy baking, you can prepare fresh cornbread at home using simple pantry staples such as cornmeal, flour, eggs, and baking powder. Store-bought cornbread works just as well if you're short on time. Next, pour cold milk over the crumbled cornbread, allowing the creamy liquid to seep into the golden crumbs and form a satisfying texture. The beauty of this dish is its versatility. Prefer it lightly sweetened. Add a drizzle of honey or sprinkle some sugar for a touch of sweetness, which adds a unique balance to the earthy flavors of the cornbread. For those who lean toward the savory side, skip the sweeteners and enjoy the hearty, grain-forward flavors as they are. This dish was more than just a meal during the Great Depression. It was a solution to food shortages and limited household budgets. With ingredients that were staples in most homes, cornbread and milk remained accessible and nourishing during a period when sustenance was paramount to survival. It was one of the many frugal recipes passed down through generations, highlighting the resilience of families who found joy in simple food. Today, recreating simple cornbread and milk delight is a wonderful way to connect with history while enjoying a quick and easy comfort food. Whether eaten as a breakfast, snack, or even a light dinner, this timeless classic reminds us of the value of simplicity and the creativity of those who came before us. 2. Hearty beans and rice. Beans and rice have long been a staple dish, beloved for their simplicity, nutritional value, and affordability. During the Great Depression, they became a go-to meal for families trying to make the most out of limited resources. This dish is comforting, hearty, and endlessly customizable based on what's available in your pantry. To make this timeless recipe, start by gathering the ingredients you'll need. You'll require rice, white or brown, beans, such as black kidney or pinto, an onion, a few cloves of garlic, and a blend of spices like cumin, chili powder, and paprika. Fresh cilantro and lime juice are optional garnishes but can take this humble dish to a whole new level of flavor. Begin by cooking your rice according to the package instructions. Opt for brown rice if you're looking for a dish with added fiber and a nuttier taste, but white rice will cook faster and still achieve a satisfying result. While the rice is cooking, prepare the base of your dish by finely chopping an onion and mincing a few cloves of garlic. Heat a drizzle of oil in a skillet and saute the onion until translucent. Add the garlic and cook for another minute or two, ensuring it doesn't burn but releases its robust aroma. Next, incorporate your beans into the skillet. If you're using canned beans, make sure to drain and rinse them beforehand. Sprinkle in your spices, adjusting amounts to taste, and stir well to coat the beans and onion mixture in a fragrant, flavorful base. Allow this combination to simmer on low heat for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. This helps the spices meld together and fully infuse the beans. Once your rice is finished, it's time to assemble your dish. Scoop a portion of rice onto a plate or into a bowl, then generously ladle the warm, spiced beans on top. For an added touch of freshness, sprinkle chopped cilantro over the dish or squeeze a bit of lime juice over everything. These garnishes brighten the flavors and give the meal a vibrant finish. Hearty beans and rice is perfect for a budget-friendly dinner, offering a satisfying balance of protein, carbohydrates, and fiber. This dish is versatile enough to pair with fresh vegetables, fried eggs, or even a sprinkle of cheese, making it a timeless recipe that stands the test of time. 3. Fresh dandelion greens salad. During the Great Depression, resourcefulness was not just a virtue, it was a necessity. One of the most inventive ways families stretched their limited food resources was by turning to nature for sustenance. The dandelion, a plant often regarded as a stubborn weed, became a nutritional asset during these tough times. This fresh dandelion greens salad is a testament to the ingenuity of that era and a reminder that even the simplest ingredients can create something truly flavorful. To prepare this salad, you'll need freshly picked dandelion greens, which were readily available to many struggling families during the Depression. These greens are packed with vitamins A, C, and K, making them a healthy and practical choice. Start by washing the greens thoroughly to remove dirt and any bitterness. Pair the greens with fresh, inexpensive vegetables like onions, cucumbers, and tomatoes, ingredients that were often grown in home gardens to supplement meals. Once your vegetables are prepared and sliced, toss them together with the dandelion greens in a large bowl. For a classic Depression-era dressing, keep it simple with oil and vinegar. Olive oil was not widely used at the time, so any affordable vegetable oil would have sufficed. Combine it with a splash of vinegar, which adds a refreshing tang to balance the slight bitterness of the greens. Season the salad sparingly with salt and pepper to enhance the flavors without overshadowing the natural taste of the vegetables. This salad is a vivid reminder of the frugal culinary practices that helped families sustain themselves through financial hardship. Without access to fancy store-bought ingredients or processed foods, meals like these were both practical and nutritious. The use of dandelion greens in particular highlights how necessity drove people to explore and appreciate the edible potential of the natural world around them. Today you can recreate this simple yet meaningful dish, both as a homage to the past and as a healthy, economical addition to your table. Serve it as a side dish or enjoy it on its own for a light, refreshing meal. Beyond its taste, the fresh dandelion greens salad carries with it the history and resilience of those who lived through one of the toughest economic periods in modern history. 4. Sweet and tangy vinegar pie. The sweet and tangy vinegar pie is a classic dessert that traces its roots back to the resilience and ingenuity of the Great Depression era. With limited access to fresh fruits and an emphasis on pantry staples, home bakers came up with this delightful solution to satisfy sweet cravings while making the most of humble ingredients. Despite its modest profile, vinegar pie delivers a surprisingly rich and balanced flavor that perfectly embodies the resourcefulness of that time. To create this simple yet flavorful dessert, you'll need just 6 key ingredients: sugar, flour, vinegar, butter, water, and a ready-made pie crust. Start by combining the dry ingredients sugar and flour thoroughly in a mixing bowl. These will form the base of the pie's filling, ensuring its sweetness and smooth texture. Next, introduce the wet ingredients by stirring in water and vinegar. Don't be alarmed by the use of vinegar in a dessert. Its sharp tang mellows during baking, adding depth to the pie's flavor and balancing the sweetness of the sugar. Finally, incorporate the butter, which gives the filling a luscious creaminess and helps bind the ingredients together. Once the filling mixture is prepared, pour it evenly into the pie crust. The crust can be homemade or store-bought, depending on your preference and time constraints, but it serves as the important vessel for this timeless dish. After the filling is added, bake the pie in a preheated oven until the mixture sets and develops a golden hue. The exact baking time may vary, so watch closely to catch it at the perfect consistency. After baking, it's crucial to allow the vinegar pie to cool completely. During this cooling phase, the filling solidifies further, ensuring neat, clean slices when served. Once cooled, this pie cuts beautifully and can be enjoyed plain or with a dollop of whipped cream for added indulgence. Vinegar pie is more than just a recipe, It's a testament to perseverance and the art of doing more with less. Its sweet yet tangy profile, paired with its silky texture, continues to charm taste buds to this day. Whether you're revisiting a family tradition or discovering it for the first time, this timeless treat is a delightful piece of history worth enjoying. 5. Classic oatmeal meatloaf. The humble meatloaf is a quintessential dish that found its way onto countless tables during the Great Depression, and for good reason. It's filling, affordable, and versatile. This timeless version of meatloaf uses oatmeal as a key ingredient, both as a budget-friendly filler and as a way to add texture and nutrition to the dish. Paired with ground beef and a few pantry staples, this recipe transforms simple ingredients into a hearty and satisfying meal that comforts the soul while stretching a dollar. To prepare this budget-friendly classic, start by gathering the ingredients. You'll need ground beef, a staple protein that forms the base of the loaf, along with oatmeal, which binds the meat together while maintaining a tender texture. Finely chopped onion adds a pop of flavor and subtle sweetness, while an egg serves as another binder to hold everything together. Incorporating a splash of milk ensures the meatloaf remains moist and juicy, a vital element for an enjoyable dining experience. Finally, ketchup serves 2 roles in this dish, mixed into the meat mixture for extra tang and flavor, and as a savory glaze on top that caramelizes beautifully during baking. Once your ingredients are ready, the preparation is straightforward yet crucial for the perfect result. Begin by combining all the ingredients in a large bowl. Mix them thoroughly but gently, being mindful not to overwork the meat, which can result in a dense loaf. Once evenly mixed, shape the mixture into a loaf shape and place it in a baking pan or on a tray. The simplicity of this recipe lies in its technique and balance, proving that you don't need fancy equipment to create something delicious. Before placing the meatloaf in the oven, coat the top generously with ketchup. This tangy topping not only adds a bright, flavorful contrast but also caramelizes at high heat, forming a sticky glaze that perfectly complements the tender meat. Bake the meatloaf in a preheated oven, allowing the comforting aroma to fill your kitchen as it cooks to perfection. Once done, give it a few minutes to rest before slicing, ensuring it holds together beautifully when served. This oatmeal meatloaf is a perfect representation of resourceful cooking during the Great Depression and remains a beloved comfort food to this day. It's as nourishing as it is nostalgic, making it a must-try dish for anyone looking to connect with the flavors and history of a time when creativity in the kitchen truly mattered. 6. Crispy potato fritters. During the Great Depression, resourceful home cooks mastered the art of creating satisfying meals from simple, inexpensive ingredients. One such classic recipe was crispy potato fritters, a dish that combines simplicity, flavor, and thriftiness. With just potatoes, an onion, a couple of eggs, flour, and a touch of salt and pepper, this recipe transforms pantry staples into a hearty, golden masterpiece. It's no wonder potato fritters were a staple during hard times. They are easy to make, filling, and incredibly versatile. To prepare this nostalgic dish, begin by peeling and grating a generous portion of potatoes. The key to achieving a crispy texture lies in removing excess moisture from the grated potatoes. Press them through a clean kitchen towel or cheesecloth, ensuring they are dry but still pliable. Next, finely grate or dice an onion and mix it with the potatoes, adding layers of savory aroma and flavor. Crack 2 eggs into the mixture to bind it together, then sprinkle in a few tablespoons of flour as a thickening agent. Finally, season the batter generously with salt and pepper. These simple spices bring out the earthiness of the potatoes. Heat oil in a skillet over medium-high heat, ensuring it is hot enough to sizzle when a dollop of batter hits the pan. Spoon small portions of the mixture into the skillet, pressing them down gently into flat circles. Cook patiently, allowing each fritter to achieve a crisp, golden brown exterior before flipping it to cook the other side. The balance of crispy crust and tender interior makes these fritters truly irresistible. The beauty of this recipe lies not only in its simplicity but also in its adaptability. Serve the potato fritters as a breakfast option alongside a dollop of sour cream or applesauce, or pair them with hearty soup for a comforting lunch. They can even stand alone as a savory snack or appetizer. This dish showcases how ingenuity in the kitchen can yield food that is as delicious as it is unforgettable. Potato fritters capture the essence of grandma's cooking during the Great Depression, where every ingredient counted and nothing went to waste. Their rich history and satisfying flavors make them a timeless recipe still worth enjoying today. 7. Hearty navy bean soup. During the Great Depression, meals had to be inexpensive, filling, and practical. A perfect example of this is Grandma's classic recipe for hearty navy bean soup. This dish embodies the ingenuity of that era, where people stretched ingredients to their fullest potential to create delicious, nourishing meals for the entire family. Navy beans, a staple in many pantries due to their long shelf life and affordability, shine in this recipe, while a humble ham bone transforms a simple pot of beans into a flavorful, comforting meal that warms both the body and soul. To make this soup, begin by soaking the navy beans overnight. This step is essential to soften the beans and reduce cooking time. Once soaked and ready, drain the beans and place them into a large pot or Dutch oven with water, ensuring the beans are well covered. Add a fragrant mix of aromatics like chopped onion, minced garlic, and of course the ham bone. The ham bone is not just for show, it imparts a rich, smoky flavor to the soup as it simmers. The beauty of this recipe lies in its simplicity. The ingredients work in harmony to create a dish that is both easy to prepare and irresistibly satisfying. Allow the soup to simmer gently. Patience is key here. This slow cooking process breaks down the beans, melds the flavors, and releases the hearty essence of the ham bone into the broth, creating a silky, savory base. After an hour or two, the beans will be tender, and the entire kitchen will be filled with the enticing aroma of home-cooked goodness. Carefully remove the ham bone, picking off any remaining meat. Chop the meat into small pieces and return it to the pot, ensuring nothing goes to waste. Season the soup with salt and a generous pinch of black pepper to taste. You can also adjust the thickness of the soup by mashing a portion of the beans directly in the pot or leaving it as is for a brothier consistency. Grandma's hearty navy bean soup is more than just a recipe, it's a reminder of resilience and resourcefulness. Perfect for cool evenings or whenever you're craving comfort food, this soup is a hearty bowl of history that brings simple, Depression-era wisdom into modern kitchens. Serve with warm slices of bread for a meal that will satisfy both the stomach and the soul. 8. Hearty cabbage soup. Cabbage soup was a staple during the Great Depression, feeding families with minimal ingredients while offering warmth and nourishment. This simple, hearty dish is both economical and filling, making it a beloved classic even today. Featuring a rich blend of cabbage, onions, garlic, carrots, potatoes, and broth, this recipe provides crucial nutrients without breaking the bank. The humble cabbage, rich in vitamins C and K, is the centerpiece of this soup, its subtle flavor complemented by the earthiness of root, vegetables, and the comforting aroma of a bay leaf. To prepare this hearty soup, begin by chopping the cabbage, onions, garlic, carrots, and potatoes into bite-sized pieces. Heat a large pot over medium heat and salt the onions and garlic in a splash of oil until they become fragrant and golden. This step unlocks their sweet and savory flavors, laying the foundation for the soup's depth. Add the chopped carrots and potatoes, stirring them gently with the other vegetables, and cook for a few minutes to enhance their natural sweetness. Next, pour in the broth, whether vegetable or chicken, and bring the mixture to a boil. Add the chopped cabbage, which will soften as it cooks, and stir in a bay leaf for an added layer of flavor. Season with salt and pepper to taste, adjusting the seasoning gradually as the soup simmers. Allow the pot to simmer gently on low heat for about 30 to 40 minutes, stirring occasionally until the vegetables are tender and the flavors meld together. The beauty of this Depression-era recipe lies in its flexibility. Feel free to incorporate whatever vegetables or herbs you have on hand. Some might add celery or a touch of tomato paste for a tangy kick, while others might stir in a bit of cooked bacon or ham for extra richness. Once ready, this wholesome soup pairs beautifully with a slice of crusty bread or a simple roll. Hearty cabbage soup is more than just a meal, it's a testament to resourcefulness and resilience. With its soothing qualities and nourishing ingredients, this dish continues to remind us of the ingenuity of those who came before us, turning the simplest ingredients into something truly comforting and delicious. 9. Simple comfort macaroni and tomatoes. Macaroni and tomatoes is a timeless dish that embodies the resourcefulness and simplicity of meals during the Great Depression. It's a hearty, budget-friendly recipe that transforms humble ingredients into a flavorful and comforting meal. This dish captures the essence of nostalgic cooking with its practicality, modest preparation requirements, and rich taste. To create this classic meal, start by gathering elbow macaroni, onion, canned tomatoes, butter, and your preferred seasonings. Begin the preparation by boiling a pot of water and cooking the macaroni until it reaches a tender texture. Drain the pasta thoroughly and set it aside. Meanwhile, finely chop an onion and saute it in a skillet with a small amount of butter. Cooking the onion slowly over medium heat helps it release its natural sweetness, all while adding a subtle, savory aroma to the dish. Once the onion turns soft and translucent, pour in the canned tomatoes, stirring them together to form a tangy mixture. Allow this combination to simmer gently, letting the flavors meld beautifully. For maximum flavor, season the sauce with a pinch of salt, black pepper, or even a touch of garlic powder or paprika, depending on your taste preferences. This step ensures the canned tomatoes and onion achieve a well-balanced, flavorful profile. Now, it's time to combine the components. Fold the cooked macaroni into the tomato mixture, stirring everything together until the pasta is evenly coated with the tangy sauce. The butter adds richness, binding the flavors beautifully and giving the dish a satisfying depth. Adjust the seasoning one last time to ensure every bite is perfectly seasoned. Macaroni and tomatoes is more than just a meal, it's a way to reconnect with simpler times when families thrived on creativity and minimalism in the kitchen. Though the recipe is straightforward, it yields a dish that's filling, warm, and welcoming, making it perfect for busy weeknight dinners or any occasion where comfort food is needed. With its soft pasta, savory tomato base, and aromatic onions, this recipe continues to delight and inspire future generations, standing as a testament to the ingenuity of Depression-era cooking. 10. Wacky cake, eggless, milkless, butterless cake. During the Great Depression, families turned to creativity and resourcefulness to make delightful treats with limited ingredients. One of the most cherished inventions of this era is the wacky cake, a simple yet flavorful dessert that leaves out staples like eggs, milk, and butter. This cake owes its charm to the ingenuity of home cooks who managed to whip up moist and delicious cakes using affordable pantry essentials. The ingredients are straightforward and likely already in your kitchen. Start with all-purpose flour as the base, then add sugar to sweeten and a blend of warm spices like cinnamon or nutmeg to bring depth of flavor. The magic truly begins when you incorporate wet ingredients. Use water as a substitute for milk and vegetable oil to ensure the batter comes together smoothly. The addition of vinegar might seem unconventional at first, but it plays a crucial role. Combined with the baking soda, it reacts to create a tender cake with a soft rise, eliminating the need for eggs. To prepare this Depression-era delight, begin by mixing the dry ingredients including flour, sugar, spices, and baking soda in a large bowl. These are the foundations for a balanced, airy texture. Next, create 3 small wells directly in the dry mixture. Into these wells, pour the vinegar, vegetable oil, and water. This unique mixing method ensures proper distribution of the wet ingredients while avoiding overmixing, which might result in a dense cake. Stir the mixture gently with a whisk or wooden spoon until just incorporated lumps are perfectly fine. Transfer the batter into a greased or parchment-lined cake pan and smooth out the surface. Then, bake it in a preheated oven at 350 degrees, 175 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. The result is a perfectly baked cake with a delicate crumb and an understated sweetness. The wacky cake not only satisfies your sweet tooth, but serves as a testament to the resilience and creativity of those who lived through challenging times. Whether enjoyed plain, dusted with powdered sugar, or frosted with your favorite icing, this simple cake is an enduring symbol of how necessity can lead to culinary brilliance. Bake it today to experience a slice of history that is as delicious as it is inspiring. 11. Sweet Butter Dreams Sandwich. During the Great Depression, simplicity and resourcefulness in the kitchen were key to crafting meals and snacks that brought comfort amidst challenging times. The humble yet delightful sweet butter sandwich, often referred to as butter and sugar sandwiches, stands out as a nostalgic reminder of this clever ingenuity. While made from the simplest of ingredients, this treat exemplifies how even the bare pantry staples could be transformed into something enjoyable. The recipe revolves around 3 ingredients many households typically had on hand: bread, butter, and sugar. To start, slices of fresh or slightly stale bread, a common staple during this era, serve as the foundation. Butter, soft and easily spreadable, is generously layered over the bread. This buttery coating not only adds a creamy texture, but also acts as the adhesive for the sweet sugar topping. Granulated sugar is then sprinkled evenly over the butter, creating a satisfying crystalline layer. Once the sugar is in place, another slice of buttered bread is pressed against it, forming a simple yet flavorful sandwich. What makes this recipe so distinctive is its sheer adaptability. Families struggling to make ends meet often varied the portions of butter or sugar depending on availability. Sweetening a meal with a touch of sugar was not only a way to elevate the experience, but also provided a quick source of energy. It was resourcefulness like this that made such recipes beloved in their time. The end result is an indulgent combination of salty creaminess from the butter and delicate crunchiness from the sugar, all nestled between the soft layers of bread. Though incredibly straightforward to prepare, these sandwiches hold a special place in Great Depression-era food culture. They became a symbol of finding comfort and joy in the simplest foods when luxuries were scarce. Fast forward to today, the sweet butter sandwich has evolved into a nostalgic treat for those who fondly remember their grandmother's kitchen, or for anyone looking to reconnect with simpler flavors. Remarkably versatile, this sweet butter dream sandwich can also be tweaked for modern taste, perhaps swapping white granulated sugar for brown sugar or cinnamon sugar to add a hint of warm spice. As you recreate this Great Depression classic, you're not only tasting a simple confection, but also savoring a small yet profound piece of history. It's a testament to creativity and warmth in the kitchen, even in difficult times. 12. Classic hobo stew. Hobo stew is a savory and hearty dish that rose to prominence during the Great Depression, when creative cooking with minimal resources was essential. This simple yet satisfying recipe embodies the frugality and ingenuity of that era while delivering a comforting meal. Made with ground beef, onion, carrots, potatoes, canned tomatoes, and broth, hobo stew transforms basic pantry staples into a deeply flavorful dish that warms both the heart and the belly. To prepare this iconic stew, start by browning the ground beef in a large pot or Dutch oven. Once the meat is browned and fragrant, drain any excess fat, as this keeps the stew from becoming too greasy. Next, add diced onions, scraping the bottom of the pot to incorporate all the flavorful bits left behind by the beef. The onions will release a slight sweetness as they soften, making the base of the stew even more delicious. After the onions become translucent, toss in the diced carrots and potatoes. These root vegetables are not only economical, but also provide a hearty texture and a subtle sweetness that balances the richness of the beef. Stir the vegetables well with the beef before pouring in canned tomatoes. The tomatoes bring a tangy brightness to the dish and help tie the flavors together. Finally, add enough broth vegetable beef or even chicken broth to submerge the ingredients slightly. The broth serves as the stew's flavor-packed liquid base. Cover the pot and allow the stew to simmer on low heat. Stir occasionally to prevent sticking, and simmer until the vegetables are tender, often about 30 to 40 minutes. The slow simmering allows all the ingredients to meld beautifully, creating a rich and well-rounded flavor. Adjust seasoning to taste with salt and pepper, or add a pinch of herbs like thyme for extra depth. Classic hobo stew symbolizes the resilience of those who made the best of difficult times with limited ingredients. Its flexibility means you can adapt it to suit what is available, adding other vegetables or stretch it further by pairing it with bread. Perfect for feeding a family on a budget. This dish continues to shine in modern kitchens as a nostalgic and comforting reminder of resourceful cooking. 13. Hearty skillet supper. Brought to life during one of the toughest times in history, the hearty skillet supper is a simple yet satisfying dish that embodies the resilience and resourcefulness of families during the Great Depression. This recipe, often referred to as the poor man's meal, became a staple on tables across America, offering a filling and flavorful meal using the most affordable and basic ingredients that were readily available. Despite its humble nature, this dish is a testament to how creativity in the kitchen can turn ordinary ingredients into something remarkable. To prepare this comforting meal, you'll need just a handful of budget-friendly ingredients that you likely already have on hand. Start with a base of potatoes peeled and sliced, which is the heart of the dish, offering a starchy, satisfying foundation. Heat a little oil in a skillet and cook the potatoes over medium heat until they begin to soften, taking care to stir occasionally for even cooking. Potatoes were a Great Depression-era staple because they were inexpensive, filling, and long-lasting, making them an invaluable ingredient. Next, add diced onions to the skillet. Cook the onions alongside the potatoes until they turn soft and translucent, releasing their natural sweetness to enhance the dish. Onions not only boost the flavor profile but also add a touch of nutrition. At this point, stir in sliced hot dogs or sausages, an accessible and cost-effective source of protein at the time. If you're feeling adventurous, smoked sausages can add a rich, savory depth to this simple dish. Season the mixture with salt and pepper to taste, allowing the ingredients to meld together as the flavors intensify. For an optional but delightful twist, sprinkle shredded cheese over the skillet before serving. The cheese adds a layer of creaminess and indulgence, elevating this economical meal into something truly comforting. Though optional, cheese was often reserved for special occasions during the Great Depression, making it a treat when included in dishes like this. The hearty skillet supper embodies the resourceful spirit of those who made do with what they had during trying times. It's a one-pan wonder that proves delicious meals don't have to be extravagant. Today, it serves as a reminder of the past while remaining a favorite for its simplicity, affordability, and incredible flavor. Whether you're reminiscing about history or simply looking for a satisfying dinner, this recipe is sure to delight. 14. Hearty Hoover Stew. During the Great Depression, families relied on simple, nourishing recipes that could stretch limited ingredients to feed many mouths. Hoover stew was one such dish that became a staple for its affordability, ease of preparation, and ability to provide a warm, filling meal. Named after President Herbert Hoover, this stew was commonly served in soup kitchens as a means to sustain struggling families. Today, it remains a fascinating piece of culinary history and a comforting dish to create in modern kitchens. The beauty of Hoover stew lies in its versatility. The basic recipe consists of a handful of inexpensive and shelf-stable ingredients like macaroni, canned tomatoes, corn, green beans, and hot dogs or sausages. To prepare, start by cooking the macaroni in a pot of salted boiling water until al dente. The macaroni not only serves as the base of the stew, but also provides the carbohydrate-rich component that helps make this dish satisfying and hearty. Once the pasta is drained and returned to the pot, the next step is to mix in canned vegetables. Corn and green beans are commonly used. The beauty of this recipe is that you can customize it based on what you have available in your pantry. Canned vegetables were a Depression-era staple because they were affordable, long-lasting, and nutritious. Their use in Hoover stew continues the tradition of resourcefulness. Next, add sliced hot dogs or sausages to the pot. These ingredients bring protein to the dish, while also adding a savory, slightly smoky flavor that complements the sweetness of the canned vegetables. Hot dogs were popular in the 1930s due to their low cost, making them an accessible protein option during hard times. After combining all the ingredients, heat the stew thoroughly on the stove, allowing the flavors to meld together. You can season it to taste with salt, pepper, or any spices you prefer, though the traditional recipe relied on minimal seasoning. Serve warm either on its own or with crusty bread to soak up the flavorful juices. Though it may have humble beginnings, Hoover stew is a dish that demonstrates resourcefulness and the power of simple ingredients to create something filling and delicious. Whether you're looking to try a piece of history or want a low-cost meal, this stew offers a timeless reminder of the creativity and resilience that emerged during challenging times. 15. Creamy bean spread sandwiches. During the Great Depression, resourcefulness in the kitchen was essential, and creamy bean spread sandwiches became a staple in many households for their affordability and nutrition. This simple yet satisfying dish was a clever way to transform basic pantry ingredients into a delicious meal that could feed the whole family. To create this economical sandwich, you start with mashed beans such as pinto, black or white beans. Whatever you have on hand works perfectly. Beans, which are high in protein and fiber, were a dietary staple during hard times due to their low cost and versatility. Once the beans are mashed, mix them with a creamy binder like mayonnaise or Greek yogurt. Mayonnaise adds a rich flavor and traditional feel, while Greek yogurt provides a tangy, lighter alternative and boosts the health benefits with added protein. Once the spread is ready, layer it generously onto slices of bread. During the Depression, homemade or day-old bread was often used to keep costs down. The creamy bean spread is delicious as is, but you can elevate the sandwich further by adding fresh or leftover vegetables. Options such as crisp lettuce, juicy tomato slices, thinly sliced cucumbers, or even shredded carrots can transform the sandwich into a more filling and wholesome meal. These creamy bean spread sandwiches aren't just a testament to the ingenuity of past generations, they also serve as a reminder that simple ingredients can create something delicious. People today can recreate this recipe not only as a nod to history but as a great way to stretch budgets and reduce food waste. It's a meal that feeds both body and soul, bringing the essence of Depression-era cooking into the modern kitchen, while emphasizing frugal yet nutritious eating. Every bite of this sandwich combines creamy and earthy flavors with a satisfying crunch if you choose to add fresh vegetables. Whether served for lunch, packed for a picnic, or even prepared as a light dinner, this recipe proves that some of the most humble dishes can also be the most delightful. Grandma's creamy bean spread sandwiches remain a heartwarming option to remember simpler times and appreciate the resourcefulness that made meals like these possible. 16. The Depression-era chocolate delight. Wacky cake, also known as depression cake, is a delightful chocolate treat with a rich history rooted in the ingenuity of the Great Depression. At a time when access to luxury ingredients like eggs, butter, and milk was scarce, home bakers got creative and devised a recipe that brought decadence to the dessert table despite economic hardship. The result: a moist, flavorful, and incredibly simple cake that requires only pantry staples. Its unique combination of vinegar and baking soda provides the perfect leavening, creating an airy texture without the need for traditional ingredients. To make this Depression-era marvel, you'll need simple and affordable ingredients such as flour, sugar, cocoa powder, vinegar, oil, water, vanilla extract, and baking soda. The preparation is as straightforward as the ingredients themselves, making it ideal for anyone, regardless of baking experience. Start by mixing all the dry ingredients together in a large bowl. This includes the flour, sugar, cocoa, and baking soda. Once the dry components are well blended, make 3 small wells in the mixture. Pour vinegar in one well, vanilla extract in another, and oil in the third. Finish by pouring water over everything, then stir gently until the batter comes together into a smooth consistency. The magic happens in the oven. Pour the batter into a greased or parchment-lined pan and bake at 350 degrees, 175 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. The result is a chocolate cake with a hint of richness and just the right amount of sweetness, perfect for any occasion or just to satisfy that sweet tooth. What makes Wacky cake particularly special is its flexibility. You can serve it plain, dust it lightly with powdered sugar, or elevate it with a generous layer of frosting. Alternatively, pair it with fruits or whipped cream to add an extra dimension of flavor. Despite its simplicity, this cake remains a timeless recipe cherished by generations. Wacky cake stands as a testament to creativity in tough times, showing that even when budgets were tight, indulgence and joy could still find their way onto the dining table. It's not just a dessert, it's a delicious slice of history that will make you appreciate the resourcefulness of those who lived through the Great Depression. 17. Nostalgic mock apple pie. The mock apple pie is a true testament to the resourcefulness and creativity of home cooks during the Great Depression. With the scarcity of fresh fruit and other luxury ingredients, families had to make do with what was available, and this ingenious recipe captures the flavor and texture of a classic apple pie without any apples. This thrifty dessert grew popular for its ability to replicate the taste of an all-American favorite while relying on simple pantry staples. The key to this faux pie lies in its surprising main ingredient, Ritz crackers. These buttery crackers are transformed into a convincing stand-in for apples through a clever preparation process. The first step involves creating a syrup by simmering water, sugar, and a pinch of cream of tartar. This mixture mimics the natural tart sweetness of apples, and once simmering, whole Ritz crackers are gently layered into the syrup. The crackers soak up the liquid and soften, taking on a texture strikingly similar to cooked apple slices. Once the filling is ready, it is transferred into a pie crust lining a baking dish. For the full pie experience, a second layer of crust is added to create a golden, flaky top. This top crust is carefully crimped around the edges to seal in the filling, then sprinkled with a touch of cinnamon and sugar to give it a delightful aroma as it bakes. The pie is then baked until the crust is golden and the filling is bubbly and fragrant. The result is astonishing when served warm. Most people would never guess there are no apples inside. The sweet, tangy filling combined with the flaky crust truly replicates the essence of a traditional apple pie. For families during the Great Depression, serving this mock apple pie at the dinner table was a way to bring a sense of comfort and normalcy to challenging times. Today, making a mock apple pie is more than just a trip down memory lane. It's a celebration of ingenuity and a reminder of how past generations adapted in moments of hardship. Whether you're curious about Depression-era cooking or just love experimenting in the kitchen, this nostalgic recipe is sure to surprise and delight. 18. Hearty cabbage and noodles delight. During the Great Depression, simplicity and resourcefulness were key in preparing meals that could feed a family while using minimal ingredients. Cabbage and noodles, a staple dish from that era, captured the essence of comfort food and economic practicality. This hearty recipe is a perfect example of how just a few ingredients can create a flavorful and satisfying meal. The base of the dish consists of egg noodles, which are both affordable and filling, providing a solid carbohydrate foundation. Begin by boiling the noodles until they are perfectly tender. While the noodles cook, prepare the other central component of the dish, cabbage. Cabbage was a common ingredient during the Great Depression due to its availability and long shelf life. Its mild flavor pairs seamlessly with the rest of the ingredients, making it a versatile vegetable to work with. Thinly shred the cabbage and slice an onion for added depth of flavor. Next, melt a generous amount of butter in a large skillet. Butter provides richness to the dish and enhances the natural sweetness of the cabbage and onions as they saute together. Add the shredded cabbage and sliced onion to the skillet, cooking them over medium heat until they soften and turn golden brown. The sautéing process not only tenderizes the cabbage, but also brings out its warm, slightly caramelized flavor, which is complemented by the savory sweetness of the onions. Once the cabbage and onions are perfectly cooked, it's time to bring everything together. Drain the cooked egg noodles and mix them into the skillet with the vegetables. Toss everything thoroughly to ensure the noodles are fully coated with the buttery sauce, and the flavors of cabbage and onion are evenly distributed throughout the dish. Season with salt and freshly ground pepper to taste, adjusting the seasoning to your preference. The result is a humble yet rewarding dish that showcases how ingenuity and simple ingredients can work in harmony to create a deeply satisfying meal. Cabbage and noodles is more than just sustenance. It's a nostalgic taste of the past, a reminder of the resilience and creativity of those who weathered the hardships of the Great Depression. Whether served as a main dish or a side, this recipe continues to be cherished for its comforting flavors and meaningful history. 19. Hearty goulash stew. Goulash, a comforting dish steeped in history, became a staple during the Great Depression due to its simplicity, affordability, and ability to stretch humble ingredients into a hearty meal. This version of goulash combines ground beef, fresh vegetables, tender macaroni, and flavorful broth to create a one-pot wonder that nourishes both the body and soul. The recipe begins with sautéing ground beef in a large pot until browned, creating a rich base of flavor. Next, chopped onions, minced garlic, and diced bell peppers are added to the pot, infusing the dish with aromatic depth. These vegetables not only enhance the taste and texture, but also provide vital nutrients, making the meal wholesome and balanced. Once the meat and vegetables are cooked through, the recipe calls for adding broth, a couple of cans of diced tomatoes, and a generous sprinkle of paprika. The broth serves as the foundation of the stew, blending the flavors together while keeping the dish saucy and satisfying. Diced tomatoes bring an acidic tang that cuts through the richness of the beef, while paprika adds a warm, smoky spice that is quintessential to traditional goulash recipes. The final key ingredient is elbow macaroni, which is stirred into the pot and allowed to simmer in the flavorful liquid. As the pasta cooks, it absorbs the broth and juices, becoming tender and coated in a rich, tomato-based sauce. This method ensures that every bite of the stew is infused with flavor, requiring only a single pot for both preparation and cooking. The result is a thick, hearty dish that's perfect as a standalone meal. Goulash's widespread popularity during hard times stemmed from its affordability and adaptability. Families often substituted ingredients based on what was available, such as swapping ground beef for cheaper cuts of meat or using leftover vegetables. This made goulash not only a filling and budget-friendly dinner, but also a way to reduce kitchen waste. Today, this same goulash recipe remains a cherished family favorite, bringing the nostalgia of simpler times while delivering modern comfort. Whether made for a weeknight meal or cooked in a large batch to share, goulash continues to be a symbol of resilience and creativity in the kitchen. Its warmth and simplicity serve as a reminder of the resourcefulness of generations past and the enduring magic of a homemade dish. 20. Oatmeal with caramelized onions. During the Great Depression, resourceful cooking was a way of life, and dishes like oatmeal with caramelized onions emerged as a shining example of simple, budget-friendly ingenuity. This savory combination transforms basic pantry staples into a satisfying meal that is both hearty and flavorful. While oatmeal is often associated with sweet breakfast dishes, here it becomes the canvas for a savory treat, thanks to the depth of flavor provided by caramelized onions. To prepare this timeless dish, start by cooking a generous portion of oatmeal. Traditional rolled oats or steel-cut oats work best, as they provide a hearty texture and hold their shape when mixed with the other ingredients. While the oatmeal simmers, thinly slice a large onion and caramelize it slowly in a skillet with butter. This process involves cooking the onions over low to medium heat for several minutes, allowing their natural sugars to develop and create a rich, golden brown sweetness. The buttery onions offer an incredible contrast to the creamy oats, and their aroma is truly irresistible. Once the oatmeal is fully cooked and the onions are perfectly caramelized, combine the two components in a mixing bowl. Stir thoroughly to ensure the onions are evenly distributed throughout the oatmeal. Season the mixture generously with salt and pepper, adjusting to taste. For an extra touch of flavor, you might consider adding a pinch of thyme or a sprinkle of grated cheese, though such additions may not have been commonly available during the Depression era. Oatmeal with caramelized onions is proof that even the humblest of ingredients can be elevated into something comforting and delicious. It's a dish that speaks to a time when families made the most of what they had, turning everyday staples into meals that warmed both body and soul. Serve it as a standalone meal or as a side dish alongside roasted vegetables or eggs. This savory oatmeal recipe is not only a nod to history but also a versatile option for modern cooks looking to create something flavorful and affordable. Simple, satisfying, and steeped in tradition, oatmeal with caramelized onions deserves a place on your table today. 21. Hearty potato casserole. Potato casserole is a comforting, timeless dish that harks back to an era when simplicity and practicality in the kitchen were paramount. This recipe, born from the ingenuity of Great Depression cooks who sought to make hearty, filling meals from economical and readily available ingredients, deserves its place in Grandma's 29 Great Depression recipes to try today. With basic pantry staples like potatoes, onions, milk, butter, and flour, this casserole is budget-friendly yet delightfully satisfying. To begin, the star of the dish, potatoes, are sliced thinly to ensure they cook to tender perfection in the oven. A flavorful onion is layered alongside for depth, providing a subtle sharpness that elevates the dish. The magic happens with a creamy, homemade milk-based sauce, expertly crafted by combining flour, butter, and milk into a smooth, velvety mixture. Seasonings such as salt, pepper, and perhaps a pinch of nutmeg or paprika are added to taste, giving the casserole a deliciously balanced flavor. Once prepared, the potatoes and onions are layered neatly in a casserole dish, ensuring even cooking and distribution of flavors. The rich milk sauce is poured generously over the layers, nestling into every crevice and infusing the dish with creaminess. For the perfect finish, the casserole is baked in the oven until the top is beautifully golden and slightly crisp, while the potatoes inside achieve a soft, melt-in-your-mouth texture. This hearty potato casserole embodies the resourcefulness and resilience of those who lived through the Great Depression. It's a testament to how simple ingredients, combined thoughtfully, can deliver a meal that brings warmth and satisfaction to the family table. Serve this classic dish as a standalone dinner, or pair it with a side salad or roasted vegetables to create a wholesome meal that echoes the culinary spirit of times gone by. Whether you're feeling nostalgic or simply want a no-fuss comforting dish, this recipe's sure to delight. 22. Fried bologna sandwiches. During the Great Depression, families had to stretch every penny while still putting food on the table, often leading to creative and resourceful meals. Fried bologna sandwiches became a beloved staple during this time, as they were hearty, flavorful, and incredibly cost-effective. This simple dish relied on budget-friendly ingredients like bologna slices, bread, and a bit of butter or oil, making it an accessible choice for families with limited resources. To prepare this nostalgic favorite, start with thick slices of bologna, which were widely available and could be bought in bulk at an affordable price. Heat a skillet over medium heat and add a small amount of butter or oil to prevent the slices from sticking. Fry the bologna until the edges curl and the surface browns, creating an irresistible crispy texture. This step transforms the simple lunch meat into a flavorful centerpiece for the sandwich. Once the bologna is finished frying, the next step is constructing the sandwich. Thick, sturdy bread works best for holding all the components together. Many Depression-era households opted for homemade bread to save money, but store-bought works just as well. Spread mustard, mayonnaise, or even a slice of cheese on the bread if these condiments are available. The addition of tangy mustard or creamy cheese can elevate the flavors, though they are optional and can be skipped for an even simpler version. Fried bologna sandwiches symbolize the ingenuity and perseverance of a generation that made the best of limited resources. They not only filled hungry bellies but also became a comforting favorite for many families. Today, this humble meal serves as a delicious reminder of the creativity that emerged in tough times and remains a nostalgic treat that's easy and worth trying. Whether you follow the traditional recipe or add your own modern twist, fried bologna sandwiches are a simple way to honor the past while enjoying an undeniably satisfying meal. 23. Savory liver and onion delight. Liver and onions may not be the first dish that comes to mind when planning a meal, but this humble recipe is a true gem from the Great Depression era. It was a staple in many households during those tough times, providing an affordable, nutrient-packed meal for families. The simplicity of the ingredients, liver, onions, flour, salt, pepper, and oil, is a testament to the resourcefulness of that generation, turning basic pantry staples into a flavorful and satisfying dish. To prepare this savory classic, start by slicing the onions thinly and cooking them over medium heat until they become caramelized, which develops their natural sweetness and adds depth to the dish. Patience is key here. Allow the onions to slowly soften and turn golden brown without burning them, a process that transforms their flavor entirely. The caramelized onions act as the perfect complement to the richness of the liver. Next, season the flour with a pinch of salt and pepper. Coat each piece of liver in the seasoned flour, ensuring an even, light dredge. This step not only helps to season the liver, but also provides a delicate, crispy crust during frying. Heat a small amount of oil in a skillet, making sure it's hot enough to sizzle when the liver is added, but not so hot that it burns. The liver is then fried to perfection, with each side cooked just enough to achieve a golden brown exterior, while keeping the interior soft and tender. Be cautious not to overcook the liver, as it can quickly become tough and rubbery. Once the liver is ready, serve it alongside the caramelized onions. The sweetness of the onions beautifully offsets the distinctive taste of the liver, creating a balance of flavors that is both hearty and comforting. Pair this dish with creamy mashed potatoes, buttered bread, or even a side of roasted vegetables for a complete meal. This savory liver and onion delight is more than just a recipe, it's a nostalgic experience, reintroducing a wholesome, forgotten comfort food into modern kitchens. It invites us to appreciate the ingenuity of those who found ways to create nourishing and flavorful meals, even in the hardest of times. If you're looking to reconnect with timeless cooking traditions, this dish truly deserves a spot at your table. 24. Fried Spam and Egg Scramble. A simple yet nourishing dish, fried Spam and Egg Scramble, is a testament to the resourcefulness of home cooks during the Great Depression. This recipe utilizes just a handful of affordable, shelf-stable ingredients and transforms them into a satisfying meal fit for any time of the day. During an era marked by financial hardship, meals like this provided nourishment while stretching budgets, making them an essential part of household cooking. To prepare this dish, take a can of Spam, an iconic canned meat praised during the Depression for its versatility and long shelf life. Dice the Spam into small, bite-sized cubes and fry them in a skillet over medium heat. Allow the pieces to brown to perfection, developing a rich, crispy texture that adds both flavor and substance to the meal. This step is essential for bringing out the savory notes of the Spam, ensuring the base of your dish is robust and satisfying. Next, focus on the eggs, another staple ingredient that many families relied upon. Crack your eggs into a bowl and whisk them until well beaten, adding a pinch of salt and pepper to season. Pour the beaten eggs directly into the skillet with the crispy Spam. Stir frequently, allowing the eggs to cook evenly while melding with the hearty diced meat. The result is a perfectly scrambled mixture, tender yet full of bold flavor. What makes this dish particularly remarkable is its adaptability. Families during the Great Depression often substituted ingredients based on availability. If Spam wasn't accessible, other preserved meats or even leftovers from prior meals could be incorporated. The eggs also provided flexibility. They were affordable for many farming households and could stretch to feed several people. Today, this dish remains a comforting classic and a nostalgic nod to the resourcefulness that defined Depression-era cooking. Whether served with toast, atop steamed rice, or simply enjoyed on its own, fried Spam and egg scramble is a dish that stands the test of time. It reminds us how simple, accessible ingredients can be combined to create something flavorful and filling, even in the most challenging of circumstances. This recipe, like many from that era, reflects the resilience and ingenuity of generations past, making it a worthy addition to your culinary repertoire. 25. Creamed chipped beef on toast. One of the most iconic and comforting dishes to come out of the Great Depression era is creamed chipped beef on toast. Known for its minimal ingredients and simple preparation, this dish became a household staple during tough economic times when stretching a budget was essential. It earned its place not only for being affordable but also for delivering a hearty, satisfying meal with just a handful of pantry items. Even today, it remains a nostalgic favorite for many, carrying memories of resilience and resourcefulness. The recipe's foundation lies in chipped beef, a type of dried and salty preserved meat perfect for long-term storage during a period when fresh ingredients were not always readily accessible. To begin, a creamy sauce is made from a roux, which involves melting butter and adding flour to form a paste. The roux is then cooked and gradually blended with milk, creating a smooth, thick texture. Next, the chipped beef is sliced into small pieces and stirred into the sauce, its salty, savory flavor perfectly balancing the creamy base. Once prepared, the mixture is generously ladled over slices of golden brown toast, serving as a rich and filling meal that could feed a family on a dime. The simplicity of this dish is what made it so attainable during the Great Depression. With only a few common ingredients, chipped beef, butter, milk, and bread, it proved to be a reliable meal that didn't require frills to feel complete. Families often turned to this recipe when money was tight, as the salty beef could be stretched within the creamy sauce to add flavor without needing large quantities of meat. Toast was another cost-friendly staple, making it an ideal pairing for the sauce and an easy way to fill hungry bellies without additional expense. Beyond its practicality, creamed chipped beef on toast also embodies the creativity and adaptability of those who lived through the Great Depression. It took inexpensive, long-lasting ingredients and transformed them into a warm, satisfying dish that still has its place on breakfast tables today. Whether enjoyed as a nostalgic nod to a bygone era or simply a quick and delicious meal, this recipe is a testament to the enduring ingenuity of home cooking. With its creamy texture and salty, hearty flavor, it's no surprise that this dish continues to be cherished and passed down through generations. 26. Simple egg drop soap. Egg drop soap is a humble yet flavorful dish that showcases how resourceful cooking with inexpensive ingredients can create something both comforting and satisfying. During the Great Depression, families made the most of what little they had, and simple soups like this became staples because of their affordability and ease of preparation. Grandma's version of egg drop soup is a timeless recipe that barely requires more than essential pantry ingredients yet brings warmth and nourishment to the table. To make this dish, the base begins with chicken or vegetable broth, which serves as a flavorful canvas. Using homemade broth or scraps from meat and vegetables was common in austere times, minimizing food waste. Begin by bringing the broth to a gentle simmer, filling the kitchen with an inviting aroma. Meanwhile, prepare a couple of eggs by beating them in a small bowl. One of the key steps in creating the signature silky ribbons of this soup lies in the gentle incorporation of the egg. With the broth simmering, slowly drizzle the beaten eggs into the pot while stirring in a circular motion. This method allows the eggs to cook almost instantly, forming delicate, wispy strands that dance in the broth. To elevate the flavor, season the soup with soy sauce, a drizzle of sesame oil, and a pinch of salt and pepper. These simple seasonings add depth, while keeping the recipe budget-friendly. If sesame oil isn't available, it can easily be omitted, as the soup remains flavorful at its core. Before serving, garnish the dish with chopped green onions for a fresh and mild onion flavor that enhances the overall taste. Grandma's egg drop soup isn't just a dish, it's a testament to resilience and creativity in times of need. It highlights how meals, no matter how simple, can bring comfort during challenging periods. Whether served as a starter or a light meal, this soup is not only economical but also bursting with warmth and nourishment, making it a recipe worth revisiting even today. 27. Grandma's Crispy Hot Water Cornbread. Hot water cornbread is a simple yet flavorful dish that perfectly embodies the ingenuity and resourcefulness of Great Depression-era cooking. Its roots run deep in Southern traditions, making it both a nostalgic comfort food and a testament to stretching basic ingredients. What makes hot water cornbread unique is the use of boiling water in the batter, which helps bind the cornmeal while creating a smooth, pliable texture. To prepare this humble delicacy, begin by combining cornmeal with a touch of salt and sugar for a subtle balance of savory and sweet flavors. While the exact ratio can vary by taste, simplicity remains at the heart of the recipe. Next, pour boiling water over the dry ingredients, stirring gently as the heat transforms the mixture into a soft, sticky batter. The addition of boiling water is the defining step, as it pre-cooks the cornmeal slightly, ensuring a tender yet sturdy texture in the finished product. Once the batter is ready, it's time to fry the cornbread. Heat a generous layer of oil in a skillet over medium-high heat. Scoop spoonfuls of the batter into the oil, flattening slightly to form small, round patties. The sizzling of the batter as it meets the hot oil is a sound that has delighted cooks for generations. Fry each piece for several minutes on each side, flipping carefully, until the cornbread turns a perfect shade of golden brown with crispy edges. The aroma of frying cornmeal wafts throughout the kitchen, evoking feelings of comfort and home. Hot water cornbread is best served warm, straight from the skillet. Its crispy exterior pairs beautifully with the tender, slightly sweet interior. This modest dish complements a wide variety of meals, from collard greens to hearty stews, or even as a standalone treat with a dollop of butter or a drizzle of honey. This recipe embodies the spirit of resilience and resourcefulness that defined meals during the Great Depression. With just a handful of affordable staples, families could create a filling and satisfying addition to any meal. Grandma's Crispy Hot Water Cornbread not only harkens back to simpler times but continues to be a beloved dish that connects the past to the present, one golden bite at a time.